Hello guys, this is Slavik. Here we usually talk about Slavs, but today we're not gonna talk. Today we're gonna cook. You're probably wondering what we're gonna cook. One and only legendary borscht. Borscht originates from Ukraine, so when I was searching for a recipe, I went on the internet and searched for original recipe. I found it, but I must warn you, I'm doing borscht for the first time. So, if you're from Ukraine or if you're Eastern Slav, please write in the comments, correct me, point out my mistakes, and we're learning here. Let's go! So here we have all the ingredients to make our delicious borscht, with main ingredients being cabbage and beets. Beets in combination with lemon will give us this deep red borscht color. Also have potatoes, tomatoes, onion, garlic, parsley and carrot in combination with spices and our own homemade tomato paste. Here we have bone-in meat, in our case beef, but you can also use chicken or some other type of meat. Firstly, we're gonna add our meat to the pot, which I already filled with cold water. We're gonna boil the meat, and when the foam appears, we're gonna skim it off and let it simmer for around 2 hours. So the foam is now gone. Let's move on to spices. I'm gonna add firstly salt, approximately a teaspoon. I'm gonna add some bay leaves and some peppercorns. Of course, you can use any types of spices you like. I'm just gonna stick to classic ones. I'm gonna set the stove for medium heat and let it simmer for approximately 2 hours. While our broth is cooking, we're moving on to vegetables. Firstly, we're gonna peel onion, beets and carrot. We're gonna chop beets and onion and grate carrot. You can notice that I'm not really a professional chef, but I love to cook. Cooking, it's one of my passions. So I'm really happy we're doing this video today. As I said, I love to cook, but soups is not really one of my strong points. Usually I don't eat soup or prepare soup at all. So this is kind of new experience for me as well. First time I tried borscht was here in Slovenia in some Ukrainian restaurant. We got borscht together with salo. If you watched our previous video on food, you'll know what is it. It was really good, but then I tried homemade borscht. And it was 10 times better. I don't know, it's just like, when you know it's cooked with love, it's the best. And this one, we're cooking with love. While I cut and peel my beets, I'm gonna tell you a little about Slovenian soups. Maybe you're wondering, what is my favorite Slovenian soup? It's goveja župa. Or actually, it's mushroom soup. Here in Slovenia, we have a couple of pretty famous and popular soups. Usually we eat them while we go to some hike or do some outdoor sports. We have a thing called koča. It's like a little wooden house on the top of the mountain, where you go from a cold air inside, drink some coffee or tea and eat some authentic rural Slovenian food. And every meal begins with a soup. Okay, The first bit is peeled. Let's try to see how we're gonna cut it, just to get a rough picture how it's gonna look. Like I said, doing this for the first time, so don't roast me too much, please. I actually never cut it or even saw a raw beet. I also heard that every cook has its own recipe for borscht, so I'm not so worried what people are gonna say in the comments. It's just my recipe. So our onion, beets and carrots are ready. And now we're moving on to other vegetables that are left. So we have tomatoes, potatoes, and cabbage. As I said, cooking is not something I do every day, so this is a result of that. Did you know that actually borscht can not only be red color but also green color? Yes, I was also surprised. Usually it's made from sorrel or spinach. I also saw that some people add beans. Or moreover, some people don't even use beets to make borscht. So, like we were talking in the beginning, borscht can be made however you like. Almost however you like. Let's continue. Okay, our broth is ready. I'm gonna turn off the heat. Let's check the meat. Ooh, you heard that? The meat is soft, which is perfect. I'm gonna put it here on the plate. I know it doesn't really look appetizing right now, but trust me, it's gonna be good. So now we're cutting the meat. I'm gonna cut a little bit of fat away here. We just want like lean meat without anything, without bone, fat, and anything not good. One of my favorite things to prepare is meat, so I'm enjoying this process. I'm gonna cut it smaller just because it's gonna be easier to eat. So we don't have like piece of steak inside the soup. But you can tell me in the comments, how do you cut your meat? Honestly, I think this looks pretty good. I'm gonna add this to the broth. Okay. We're also adding potatoes and our beloved cabbage. I'm gonna let it boil for around 20 minutes. And now we're moving on to our beets, carrots and onions, which are waiting for us right there. Now that onion starts to smell really good and gets a nice color, I'm gonna add my carrots and beets, just like that. And to properly cook it, I'm gonna add a little bit of broth. 1 or maybe 2 this big spoons. I don't know how it's called. Now we're gonna stew it for 20 minutes. I'm gonna put a lid on, just like that. I'm also gonna lower the heat. Now that our vegetables are stewing, we're gonna add some tomatoes and tomato paste. Now we're adding homemade tomato paste. I'm gonna add 1 spoon. Not too much because I already added tomatoes. Maybe just a little bit for good measure. Just like that. Now I'm gonna stir it. I also need to add some lemon for color. And how convenient, I have lemon tree right here. Oh, fresh lemon. Cutting it up and squeezing right over my beautifully cooked veggies. Just like that, not too much. And just 1 little spoon of sugar, because who don't love sugar? Usually it's white sugar, but unfortunately we don't have it. So we're gonna use brown sugar, just made our own authentic recipe. Yeah. And now we're gonna let it cook for another 5 to 10 minutes. So our vegetables here are ready. And now we're gonna add them to the broth to boil for another maybe 10 to 15 minutes. We add our beautiful vegetables to assemble our borscht. This is when the borscht gets its unique color. In our case, it's deep red, like the love. I know you're really interested how it looks like, so you can come closer to check it out. Okay, lid on, timer 10 to 15 minutes, and we're back. While our borscht is cooking, I'm gonna cut some parsley. This is just gonna be a finishing touch, like a cherry on top, you might say. We're not gonna use super a lot, just a little, like something like that. We're gonna cut it in little fine pieces. We don't want a whole tree there, so yeah. Now I'm gonna just add 2 cloves of garlic into the pot, just for extra flavor. There you go. We have 2 cloves, 1 smaller, 1 bigger. Now we're gonna use the tool, which I actually never used before. That's weird. Oh, that smells amazing. I'm actually really excited for this one. Okay. The garlic is in. Now, this was the last step of cooking, and the only thing left is to put everything away and taste the borscht. The moment you all been waiting for is here. Our borscht is ready. I'm gonna turn off the heat. The only thing left now is to try it. Get some vegetables, but also some broth in here, just like that. Oi. Well, just look at that beautiful red color. Now we're gonna add a spoon of sour cream, a little bit of parsley, and our borscht is done. So now it's the most important part we all been waiting for, and that's how it tastes. Usually you eat borscht with bread, with salo, garlic and sour cream, but unfortunately we don't have bread and salo, so we're just trying with garlic and sour cream. Let's try. I like it. Vegetables and meat are really soft. The only thing missing, it's a little more salt. So, but the taste in general, really good. It's really rich. But I also heard that the second day, borscht actually tastes even better because it matures and the flavor is much more rich. So yeah, I would give it 8 out of 10, with a pinch of salt, 9 out of 10. Always room for improving, but I think for my first time I did pretty good. Speaking of first time, this is the first time we're doing this type of video. Please write in the comments how did you like it. You can also write what I did wrong, what I did right, what would you change. You can also suggest any type of food you would like to see. And yeah, subscribe to our channel, give us a like, and see you in the next video.